Welcome to day 2 of this masterclass series on quantum leaping into your soul-aligned dream life. Today the focus is going to be on rising above energetic blocks and becoming magnetic to what you desire. So if you missed the first day's training, I have it on my personal Facebook page, so be sure to check that out. I really guide you to feel into the energy of what a quantum leap actually is, tap into that frequency and make it the normal in your life, and also gave some guidance around the cosmic shifts that are happening right now and how it's leading to global change on the planet. So say hi as you jump in. It's great to have you here, Lisa, and just give me a moment here to share this video out because I do not do videos on my business page at all, really. It's been a long time since I've done a video here, so I want to share this out to my Facebook group as well as to my personal page. And if you know somebody that could benefit from this training today, that's in need of raising their vibration, of really feeling into taking their manifestation to the next level, feeling supported by the universe right now, I invite you to share this out as well. And just give me a minute to kind of refresh this page and do this. And then we will dive in with all the goodness for today. And you're welcome to share as well, whether you're here live or you're catching this on the replay, since today's focus is about rising above energetic blocks, being magnetic to what you desire. I invite you to share, what belief are you choosing to let go of and what belief are you going to replace that with? So maybe you're choosing to let go of the belief or attachment to scarcity or lack mentality and to truly tap into the energy of abundance. Maybe it's letting go of this idea of struggle and that it has to be hard work to make money, and you're open to being in the energy of ease and flow. Hi, Lorena. How are you? Welcome. I'm just sharing this video out here. I'm going to share it into my group. And if you're not in my group, come join me there as well. Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World Together. And that's where tomorrow's training is going to be. So if you're not already there, be sure to jump over. And I'm going to see if I can share this out to my personal page as well. Okay. There we go. Awesome. I think that is done. Okay, Kathy, how are you? Definitely say hi as you jump on. Stephanie, thank you for all the hearts, all the love. Welcome, welcome. Really good training here for you today. And we're also going to do a powerful meditation. So just to do a recap, a little bit of a recap on yesterday, we are at a powerful time right now where we are undergoing major transformation and releasing attachment to old structures, old traditions, old ways of doing things, old ways of showing up, so we can emerge at a higher vibration, more aligned to our higher potential, not only as individuals, but as a collective, as a society. And right now we are in the midst of that transformation, and how we show up at this time is key. And this is any time in our life. I know this is such a big thing right now with everything going on, all these changes, but at any time in our life, when we are in the midst of a transformation, how we show up at that time determines the end result. Do we have faith? Do we have trust in times where it feels uncertain? That's going to determine if we're happy with ourselves on the other side and even influence ultimately what that outcome is. So again, if you didn't see yesterday's video, I definitely encourage you to go check that out and get some of the cosmic guidance behind these shifts. And yeah, we'll look a little bit more at that today too, because I'm receiving, even as I study the astrology and the charts right now, I'm receiving even more information on some of the shifts that are unfolding and how they're really like playing out for us and how we can work with that energy in its highest expression. So I want to begin with a meditation here to get nice and grounded. I continue to hear in the space of the Akashic Records that staying grounded and connected to Mother Earth right now is so important. Because when we go into a space of fight or flight or anxiety, in a way it's like we feel it in our body, but the other part of us wants to kind of escape our body. We don't want to be there. But what we are really invited to do right now is connect. Connect into our body, connect to your breath, because that's where you find the present moment. And in the present moment, there is no anxiety, there is no stress, there is only calmness and well-being. And I really feel this invitation from Mother Earth right now, from Gaia, to connect to her more deeply. not to run or escape, but to connect in. So I want to guide you through a meditation to really connect into your root chakra, and we'll do some affirmations in space. And connecting into your root chakra will help you feel more grounded, more supported, more calm, so you are able to really think clearly in the decisions that you're making. And the root chakra governs our ability to feel safe. Basically, it's related to safety, it's related to security. So who is ready to do a little bit of root chakra work here before we dive into some of the content for tonight? Hi, John. Oh, I love it. Perfect. Divine timing. I love seeing those angel numbers. The ones I get a lot are 111, which I know is a really common one, but I also see 444. They seem to be the ones that appear for me a lot, so really powerful. All right, so if you are able to, I invite you just to take a few moments to join me in this meditation, in this grounding. As long as you're not driving and it's safe to do so, you are worth taking this time for you. So simply close your eyes and just take a moment to connect into your breath. And notice as you connect into your breath, you connect into your body, and you become more grounded in the moment. And let's collectively take a deep breath in together. Pausing for a moment at the top, feel that expansion and release. And another deep breath in. Pausing at the top and exhale, and bringing awareness into your root chakra. And your root chakra is located at the base of your spine. And simply bring your awareness into this energy center as you hold the intention that it finds the perfect balance for you in this moment. And with every inhale, I invite you to breathe in the energy of peace, of calmness, of feeling grounded and supported. And with every exhale, release any doubts and fears you are holding on to. And really pull your breath into this energy center, feeling it expand with every inhalation. And feeling any fears and doubts leaving your body, leaving your energy fields. And as you focus on this energy center, I invite you to affirm, I connect to the loving energy of Gaia. I am infinitely supported and loved. In all situations, I was born to thrive. Well-being is my birthright, and I choose to tap into it now. And just take a deep breath in. Release, really holding that intention that this chakra finds the perfect balance for you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Let me know how that's feeling for you. And welcome if you are just joining. And yeah, again, I just here at this time, connecting into Mother Earth, connecting to our body, so important. And this is actually a really important key in our manifestation as well. Like I remember, this was quite a few years ago now, maybe 10 years ago, and I was working with this theta healer. We were working on lots of amazing things. She was incredible. In one of our sessions, this idea of being grounded and connected came up, and she was noticing how I was very much in my upper chakras. And at this time, this was all new to me, like chakra work, all this stuff. And we started doing really important work on grounding into the lower chakras and connecting to Mother Earth. And the changes in my life were incredible, even on a physical level. Like I used to have this feeling of kind of being unbalanced or even dizzy at times. And the more I connected to Mother Earth and to my root chakra, that began to shift for me. And I also noticed the speed at which I was able to manifest changed as well. Like I was manifesting more quickly all the time. And that's really important to keep in mind when we talk about quantum manifestation, like, yes, we're working within the energetic realm and we're working with our ability to generate certain feelings, certain frequencies, certain emotions, but being able to anchor that guidance from above, that intuition, anchor it into your body, that's what allows you to take practical action steps in your daily life that really lead to some major shifts. So keep that in mind, and feel free to use this easy meditation anytime you want. Or in my video yesterday, I did a beautiful one on the column of light, and that's on my personal page. And you can do that as well to really make sure that you're grounding every day and you're taking these two energies together. So the energy of God, the divine, that connection to your higher self, and you're really anchoring it into the work that you're doing here on this planet. And that alone will just speed up your manifestations in beautiful ways. For all the love in the hearts. Kathy, I've been working with the root chakra this week to assist my lower back pain. Yeah, that can be a sign of our root chakra out of balance, right? When we experience back pain. So doing that work can help us physically as well, for sure. Okay, so where do I want to start today? Let me feel in here. So one of the cosmic shifts that I didn't talk about yesterday, but I really want to touch on today, so in the cosmos right now, we have the planet Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And the energy of Taurus is very much connected to Mother Earth. It's a very grounded sign. And the energy of the planet Uranus is one of progression and one of change. And since we've seen this shift, this planetary shift of Uranus moving into the sign of Taurus, there's been many changes on planet Earth, many changes in our environment that are unfolding right now, and that are going to continue to unfold over the next 5 years during this transit, where we are really changing how we do life here on planet Earth. And I think this is one of the good things we're seeing coming out of what's happening right now on our planet with more physical isolation. The environment is thriving from that in the sense of less pollution. We're seeing wildlife benefiting from this, and more of these changes I feel are going to be unfolding as we as a planet find that balance again. And this is also really an invitation as well to connect into the divine feminine energy and to find more joy and pleasure in our life. So we're really moving away from old paradigms that were very much based on a lot of hard work and the way we perceive power, the way we perceive our ability to make money. And we're shifting into realizing there's more than just I work hard to make money. And we've all known that for so long, but now as a planet, we're really ready to evolve. And not that we don't get to attract money to us, and not that we don't get to take action because it's fun, but we're changing the paradigm around it. And we're really invited in our own life to shift more into the energy of playfulness, to enjoy the beauty and the abundance of our world. And right now, we're really having the ability to tap into that with the extra time that we're having at home to meditate, to connect, to relax. That is the divine feminine energy. And when we talk about magnetizing our desires, it's very much connected to feminine energy. And this applies, I know I work primarily with women, but I'm sure everybody here knows this, I always like to make clear that the divine feminine energy is in men as well, just like the divine masculine, right? It's in all of us, it's an energy. But as a culture for so long, we were disconnected from the divine feminine energy of pleasure, of joy, of receiving with ease, and now that is really coming back. And we're seeing that cosmically as well with the North Node in Cancer. It's still in Cancer at this time, where we are invited to feel into more of that divine feminine energy and tap into it within ourselves. And with that, again, is our ability to receive. The things that we create in our life are a result of our capacity to receive. So the masculine energy is where we do the work, we take the action. As a society, we are very familiar with that. We are familiar with the action part. But now we're learning more and more, what about the receiving? Have I created space to receive what I want? And I even encourage you to look at your life and what you are manifesting, what you are working on creating right now. And do you have the capacity to receive it? Or is there guilt around receiving it? Is there a belief that I haven't worked hard enough to receive it yet? Or even a belief that I'm not quite worthy of receiving it? We have all these beliefs that can appear as blocks that can stop us from calling in what we desire. So right now, we are really feeling into what it means to allow what we want into our life. And even practicing receiving, like, on all levels. I remember years ago, like, my background is in counseling, and I used to run this amazing, actually I didn't run, but I was one of the facilitators for this amazing group. It was called Women of Worth. They were incredible women in that space. And I would plan different things that we could talk about or discuss. And one thing that would come up is, like, around self-esteem was practicing receiving compliments. Like, your ability to receive money, to receive the body you desire, the relationship you want, like, it's all the same energy of receiving. So even looking, like, day to day, how good you are at receiving things, like when somebody wants to give you a gift or when someone compliments you. Is there a part of you that contracts, like physically and energetically? Do you feel yourself contracting or feeling like, oh, I don't know, how do I receive this compliment? What should I say? And the more you practice just receiving, even in those little ways, it'll expand to the larger areas of your life as well. Again, like the money that you want to call in, the relationship, whatever it is you're creating, their ability to receive. And I think collectively we were closed off to that for so long, and that was part of being disconnected from the divine feminine energy. But as we awaken to that more and more, our capacity to receive and not feeling guilty about receiving is changing. And we're like, okay, what if I can receive this with ease? And again, that's a huge part of magnetizing the things that we desire into our experience, is that divine feminine connection and our ability to receive. Another way we're seeing this shift, I talked more about this yesterday in the video that I did, and this is with Black Moon Lilith right now, conjunct Chiron in the sign of Aries. And Black Moon Lilith is the wild goddess, the dark goddess, and conjunct Chiron, it's like we're healing collective wounds around the masculine as well as the feminine. And again, we're finding what that balance looks like for us now. So we're doing a lot of healing around some of the things that have been attached to the divine feminine energy that are so key for being a powerful creator. So being connected to your intuition and not seeing that as weird. Like, so many of the practices that are associated with the feminine were seen as odd or strange, like doing rituals, doing new moon, doing full moon rituals. This is changing now, and I'm sure everyone in this space wouldn't find it strange, as I don't either. But as a collective, we're waking up to inviting these practices more into our life. So trusting our intuition and actually seeing it as a normal part of our human experience, a navigation system we've been given to make the most out of our life. Doing rituals that help us really feel the support of the universe. Because when we engage in ritual, we connect beyond our, like, human body and our physical ability to create, and we feel that support of the universe working with us to create our desires. So as we invite more of these things back into our life, we're going to see manifestation and our ability to manifest really speeding up. Resonating. I just feel a call to check in for a second here. So say hi if you're just joining now. Let me know if this is resonating around the divine feminine, and feel free to share as well. What belief at this time in your life are you choosing to let go of, and what are you choosing to replace it with? We're going to dive into beliefs in a moment here. But when we talk about magnetism and receiving, this is the divine feminine being connected to that energy, and also welcoming in more playfulness and more joy into our life. So I was doing a reading today with an incredible woman. We were exploring her Akashic Records, and what's really neat is anytime I'm working with, like, a one-on-one client and we're in their Akashic Records, new things come through depending on who I'm working with, which completely makes sense because it's like I'm accessing new information through them in their space of the records, which is really cool. But a message that was coming through really strongly in her records was the speed at which manifestations are happening right now on the planet. Like, it is speeding up. And this can be unwanted manifestations as well. So we really need to be aware of our thoughts, our energy, our behavior, what we are calling in. And this can be really amazing manifestations too, but they're happening way more quickly than in the past. And I think part of this is the realization of if we're just using action alone to create what we want, it's going to be slower. But when we pair action with our energy, with our frequency, with co-creating with divine intelligence, with cosmic intelligence, it speeds up. So we are seeing that majorly. And I'm sure you're seeing that in your life too, just manifestations happening more quickly. And it's a beautiful thing. And when you find you're attracting or you've manifested something that you don't want, because we are the creators of our reality, our experience, it's not about going into guilt or shame or blame. It's simply that opportunity to look at what created this? Where was my beliefs? Where was my mindset? What was I focused on? And when you do that, I know in my life, it's usually no surprise the things that show up. It's like, oh yeah, this is how I was feeling. This is where my thoughts were. This is what I called in. And it's not about blame. Like shame, guilt, and blame, that stems from the ego. Our soul, our higher self doesn't see it that way. It sees it simply as information and an opportunity to make adjustments or alterations. So if we're calling things in that don't feel aligned, or that are not what we desire, we just get to shift that. And the more that you're in that space of awareness, of being aware of your mindset, your energy, and you can be aware of your energy by how you feel. Our emotions are a glimpse into our mindset and our frequency. Every belief, every thought holds an energy and a frequency of its own. So when we're tuned in and we're aware, we're no longer creating by default and wondering why certain things are happening in our life. We step into our power and we begin to recognize, oh, it's a result of what I was focused on, where my emotions were, and now I can make those changes. How is this feeling with everyone? How's this landing? Let me know what's coming through. Feel free to ask your questions as well. I'm happy to answer any questions on anything that's coming up for you right now, if you're wanting any guidance from the records or just insight around this. So, okay. Another thing I really want to dive in here is this idea of blocks, rising above our energetic blocks. So we talked a little bit about the magnetism piece. So this idea of blocks is really interesting. So basically, what we label as a block is when we want something and it's not appearing, and we feel like there's a block to us receiving it, right? In a sense it is. But what's really interesting is one of the first things I noticed in the space of that I learned in the space of the Akashic Records, one of the messages that came through when I was doing my training, and this was a couple years ago now, possibly a few years ago. It's been a little while now since I initially did trainings in the space of the records. So what led me to work in this space was and become like a practitioner is I was working with a mentor who was certified in the Akashic Records, and just working with her and working in this space, I noticed so many incredible changes, like just aligning so deeply to my soul purpose and being able to receive abundantly for my work in the world. Like it was after working in the space of the records. If you followed me for a little while, you've probably heard me say this before. I doubled my income that year, and that allowed me to leave the job I was doing on the side and move into my business, which feels like my soul work I'm here to do full time. And that felt like absolutely incredible and amazing. And not only that I was able to earn money for what I love, but that it felt so aligned to my soul purpose and my life path. And doing work in the space of the Akashic Records really helps bring clarity on what we are here to do and helps us fully step into our power and potential, because it guides us in rising above the ego, the fears, the blocks, which are basically a result of our mindset that we collected on this life journey. It gets us to rise above that and see ourselves in a new way, to see the world in a new way, more through the eyes of love, more through the broader perspective that expands well beyond your lifetime in this body. You begin to see there's so much more, and you begin to see you can tap into collective consciousness, collective wisdom, that you can tap into different dimensions, and there's so much healing that is available for you in that space, so much wisdom that is available to call through. And Kathy loves the Akashic Records. It's a game changer. It really is. It was for me. I know we're all guided to different things, and I think it's really important that we follow where we are called to, whether that's doing EFT work, I do that as well, but Reiki, yoga, whatever our practice is, I feel if we're guided toward it, to trust that, because there's a soul connection there. And for me, it was doing work in the Akashic Records, and I continue with the women I work with one-on-one today, see the shifts that happen so quickly in the space for them. It's incredible. But anyway, that's kind of a sidetrack. But what I want to say around this idea of blocks and what first came through when I was doing my training in the Akashic Records, I heard this message or felt it so strongly. Like, it's usually a feeling for me, and I say here, but it's like a feeling or just a knowing that I get. So I heard this guidance or received this guidance that blocks are an illusion, that blocks actually don't exist. And that was like, oh, wow. And I did so, to this day, I still do work around helping people release blocks, rise above blocks. At that time, it was a big part of my work. So I also heard the message, it doesn't mean that the work you're doing isn't valuable. So basically, in the energetic realm, in the space of the Akashic Records, blocks are not perceived. Like, we don't see it that way. If there's something we desire, it's completely there for us, because we don't desire something that isn't possible. If the desire is in your heart, it is meant for you. It is part of your destiny. And the blocks are creations of our minds. We could say our ego, but it's even just our thoughts. A block is a belief or a thought or a mindset that is not in alignment with what you desire to call in. That's all it is. It's like the energies are two different frequencies. They're not aligning. But in the space of the records, even just feel into that. Feel free to go through as you feel into that energy, like blocks are an illusion. They don't exist. In the space, they don't. So basically, we create our own blocks. And because we create them, we can also rise above them. Yes, which is huge, right? Because that gives the power back to us too. So how do we rise above blocks? Firstly, it's recognizing that in that energetic realm, in that space, they don't even exist. They're a creation of our own beliefs, the stories we've picked up. So recognizing that is key, because you can look at in the different areas of your life, what is the story I've told myself around money? These are even good journal prompts. What do I believe around money? Write the word money in your journal and write what comes up. Is it hard to make? Is it only for some people? What are the beliefs around that? You can do the same around relationships. Do you believe relationships are difficult? Or do you believe they're easy? What are the beliefs? Because the blocks to what you desire are just beliefs you've picked up on your journey that are not in alignment with that desire. And part of your human experience here is to rise above the fear mind, the limitations, and remember who you really are and the power you hold. So this in and of itself isn't necessarily new information, but I want to share this and then kind of take it to a next level. So we know we can rewire our brain. We've known that for a little while now. We know we can, and which is huge, right? When we think about that, we can rewire our brain, those neural connections. We can change our subconscious programming, even though most of it was put in place in those first 7 years of our life. What we were told from parents, from teachers, what we picked up from observing other people, it formed those beliefs. But they don't need to be locked in there. We can shift them. That is huge. And now what I'm really feeling in the Akashic Records and the energy and what we are stepping into now is that it gets to be way easier than we ever thought it was before. That we actually, by raising our frequency, connecting into this divine intelligence, connecting to our higher self, we naturally rise above those old beliefs. Because every thought, every belief is an energy, is a frequency in and of itself. So when we raise our vibration, so we're not a match to scarcity or lack or just a belief that's outdated and doesn't serve us, we naturally call in new experiences, new energy, new information. So part of being magnetic to your desires, calling in what you want, rising above beliefs, shifting beliefs, is feeling into what if this gets to be easier than ever before? What if it gets to be easier than I previously thought it was? And that goes into the collective shifts we're experiencing right now, where manifestation is happening really quickly. Like, it's happening way faster than in the past. So this all feeds into it. Okay, I want to check in with these comments. And thank you again the hearts and the love. If you feel like somebody in your life could benefit from this information, share this video out. Let's get this information out there, because I know we're all feeling major shifts, major energetic upgrades right now. Okay, Cindy, having trouble with collective as I'm taking on fear, anxiety. How can I not and instead tap into positive? Beautiful question, Cindy. Yeah, because as star seeds and light workers, we're naturally very absorbent of the energy around us. And right now there is a lot of fear and anxiety in the collective. So I think part of that is staying grounded. I keep hearing the more that we stay grounded in our body and connected to Mother Earth, we are able to detach from the fear and from the scarcity. So being grounded is one. And then really being aware. So basically, we have the power to choose the energy we tap into. So yes, there's a lot of fear, there's the anxiety, but I feel there's a lot of love right now too. There's a lot of support that people are sharing and showing that we're in this together. And this was actually a message. I'm glad you asked this question, Cindy, because it just reminded me of another message that I wanted to share tonight as well around unity and coming together. So of course, I'm not saying disregard physical isolation. That's important, very important right now. But unity in the sense of how we are supporting one another, even through online spaces, through virtual spaces, through our energy. Because when we go into fear, fight or flight, it's survival. And in survival, we're looking out for ourselves. So that's a lower vibration, right? That's survival, and it has a purpose. But we also can rise above that and realize this is a time for unity. This is a time for coming together. And I can choose to tap into a new frequency, a new energy. And that's where our power is. So staying grounded, being aware of what thoughts and beliefs and energy you are activating, what you are tapping into. And the topic of blocks has been conversation in the past few days, to come to find we made them out, right, Jasmine? We do. We make them up in the sense that in the energetic realm, they don't need to be there. They can feel very real in our human experience. Like if we want something and we don't have it, we're like, well, this is real. But it's only because of our thoughts, our beliefs, our mindset that put it there, and we get to rise above it. So part of rising above it as well is looking at what's the energy of what I call in? How does it feel to have it? And what belief matches that energy? What belief feels better? And just playing around with that is so powerful. JC, I had blocks too. I thought I wanted to be a coach and there's a lot of money into that. Now I don't feel like anymore. My chart says it would be, I would be a good coach. Tracy, I would say really trust your intuition around it, right? Like even in terms of you're talking about like birth charts too. So when I explore people's birth charts with them, there's lots of different possibilities of how we work with the energy. So in our birth chart, it is like our divine soul blueprint, and it shows where our gifts are. So even looking at what would make me a really good coach, like what are those qualities that I like? And if I don't like coaching in and of itself, how can that be channeled or transferred into an area that feels more aligned for me? And just really feeling that. Oh. I love the what if question, brings up some potential. What if questions are powerful? And Kate, you know, Kate's in my Goddess Sisterhood VIP group. I invite the women in that space as well as my one-on-one clients to do this a lot too. Use the best case scenario of what if, because often we spiral into a panic of what if, worst case scenarios, but we can also do what if, like what if everything works out better than I expected? What if I live in a loving universe and things are working out for me? Using that what if in very powerful ways is amazing. And in the space of the Akashic Records, what elicits the information that comes through is actually the questions we ask. So working in this space as well has helped me get better at and cultivate more awareness around the questions that I'm asking. Do I want the answer to that question? Or what's a different way that I can word it? So the best case what ifs are really powerful. Kathy, inner high vibrational frequencies, blessings to all, receive, thank you. And yeah, that's there to tap into, right? Lisa's letting go of the survival mode, grounding down into beautiful, holding that space for you, Lisa. Yeah, really key right now. Like I just feel that like anytime I'm in the records, and that's why the meditations I've been doing with these videos have really been about grounding, connecting to the root chakra, connecting to our body so important to stay grounded. And even doing that practice of like releasing anxiety and fear, hand that over to Mother Earth and pull in the new energy. And it is a practice. Part of it too can be like calming down our nervous system if we are in overdrive, and meditation can do that, EFT can do that, nature walks can do that, but we want to let our body know like it's safe. Even doing deep breathing can help do that as well. Just bring our nervous system more into a space of balance, which is really key for our ability to manifest as well. When we're in overdrive, we're manic manifesting, or we're blocking our ability to receive. So we want to expand that capacity and calm down our nervous system, calm down our body, and allow ourselves to know it's safe to have what I desire. It's safe to have things work out really well for me. That feeling of safety is actually at the key of a lot of what we desire. So when I'm working with clients one-on-one, on some level, if they're not calling in what they want, there's a feeling that it's not safe. And it's a very primal need to feel safe. So we could feel if I had more money, it's not safe if in some way then people around me won't understand me. I'll be rejected by the tribe, right? It's a very primal fear. Or I don't trust myself with that. That's again a safety issue. So we want to know, this is another really good insight around manifesting and being a powerful manifester, is do you feel safe in having what you want? Is there a part of you that wouldn't feel safe in having it, and exploring that? And if anyone wants to do this deeper work together, I am taking on one-on-one clients in the cosmic activation. So reach out if you're feeling called to do so and you feel like you want more support at this time, you want to work in your records, you want more guidance with your astrology, and you want to just recalibrate your energy to its highest potential. Okay, what else do I want to go over today? I've made some side notes here. I tune into the records and then I'm like, okay, what wants to come through? See if there's anything we haven't really touched on. Okay, this is good to just reinforce. So saying yes to what you desire, what you want, what you truly desire is of high service to the world. It is high service to say yes to the things you desire, to say yes. And especially at times like this, when we are more in that, not all of us, and we don't have to be, but in that space of fear, to actually say yes to your desires is of high service to the world, and is trusting they are placed in your heart for a reason. And if you desire it, you have what you need to manifest it. This is very clearly seen in people's astrology too. What they want, what they desire, they have the traits and the ability to fully get that. It's amazing to see how that plays out. So trust if you have that desire, you have all you need to fully manifest it. And it is meant for you. In a way, it's like it's a part of your destiny, and it's probably written in the records, and that's why that desire is placed there. So the first step is fully owning it and releasing any guilt around wanting it. Like, don't feel bad for wanting what you want. It is of high service. And if you even think of it in terms of like your ancestors or past generations, they probably worked really hard for you to have those desires. So saying yes to that is actually evolution on a big level. It expands us collectively. It expands your family line. Saying yes to your desires is of high service. So breathe that in, affirm that, and know that, because that really is the first step in the manifestation process as well. If there's any guilt around claiming what we want or what we desire, we'll block it. If it doesn't feel safe, we'll block it. But how do we rise above those blocks? We just tap into a new frequency. What's a belief? What's a thought that feels better? Every thought that's ever been thought still exists. And that's what we call in and activate in our experience determines the energy we tap into. So are we tapped in to that fear and anxiety? Or are we tapped into abundance, support, well-being? It's all available to us in every moment. That's why there's infinite possibilities in every moment. And now certain beliefs, certain thoughts may come easier to us simply because they've been practiced. Like, just think, if you have a belief that maybe was put in place at 7 that you never really challenged, you're in a way you may be strengthening that belief every day. But as soon as you become aware, you already weaken that belief, you weaken that connection, because it's no longer in default. You're aware of it and you have that ability to then choose again. So awareness is key, cultivating that awareness and of how you feel, what you're thinking, what your mindset is, and knowing you can choose again, and then using the power of questions to tap into a new energy, a new possibility for yourself. Okay, Jasmine, what is the next step to remove these self-blocks, self-work? So, and this is where really feeling, because I'm feeling this in the collective, that it doesn't need to be as difficult as we made it out to be. Like if we are on a new frequency, the block can't even exist anymore. So say, if anyone wants to give an example, you're welcome to. So say it's like a struggle with money, or you want to bring in more money. There feels like there's a block to that. There's a certain energy that's being activated around money that is hard or that is difficult. And so the new energy you want to practice is asking yourself, what would it feel like if it was easy? What if it was drawn to me with ease? What if I trusted, I lived in an abundant universe, my needs were provided for? How does that feel? So it's basically practicing in, so when you recognize, you're aware of those beliefs, you're practicing a new energy, the energy that's more in alignment with what you desire to call in, and you're making that dominant in your vibration. And what's really cool about manifestation is we don't have to be perfect in our belief system to the tipping point a little bit. So with that example with money, if there's more of a belief that it's easy and that it flows, you'll see a shift if that energy is more dominant than the struggle. And we can see that on any topic. And so it's practicing a new energy, practicing a new frequency, and making that more the dominant. And being aware, right? Because it's not just we sit down once and we do it, it's daily. How do I show up in the world? Is my dominant belief still ease and flow and abundance? And sometimes what I encourage, I don't think we should, deny our beliefs or deny our fears. If there's a fear-based belief or there's something you've been working on manifesting for a while that hasn't quite happened yet, it can be worth it to kind of dive in a little bit deeper and look at what is the fear around this, what is the belief around this, with the intention of shifting it. So this is the belief that's currently in place. What's a belief that feels more aligned to my higher self, to my highest potential of what is possible for me and what is possible in my life? And so doing that journaling work can be very helpful as well. Okay. Oh, Cindy, sending so much love. That's hard. Yes. Let's collectively just send positive love. Sending that to you. That's difficult. Mm-hmm. And I know it's like, it's really a test for all of us, right? In difficult times, it's like, okay, how do I stay connected? How do I stay in this place? Because when things are going really well, right, it's easy for us to feel good. When it's a test is when difficulties arise. But that's when we can really, really dig in and say, okay, can I still fully trust in the universe? Can I trust that things are working out for me? Can I trust that I'm provided for? And then, of course, take the necessary actions as we are inspired to do so. But I find the more we're in that calm, grounded space and connected to our intuition, we hear that guidance more easily. It was really nice as well. Like fear and panic block our ability to think clearly, basically. So the more we can release and detox of that, the better. I'll see if there's anything else. I think we probably covered most things I want to touch on tonight. So just a reminder, if you missed yesterday's, it's on my personal Facebook page, so check that out. This is the first time in a while. I'm not very active on my business page, but I just felt inspired to do something here, have some videos on my business page. So thank you everyone who joined. And tomorrow's masterclass training is going to be in my Facebook group, Spiritual Goddesses Healing the World Together. So if you're not a member of that space, jump on over. For anyone that wants to go deeper in the Akashic Records with your astrology, reach out about the cosmic activation. It's one-on-one work we will do together. It is life-changing. It is powerful. It will recalibrate your energy and bring in those manifestations very quickly. Because when you're aligned to your higher self and infinite potential, the blocks fade away and you see the speed at which manifestations can unfold for you. All right. So much love to you all. Thank you again for joining. I will